Please rise. The Court of the Second Judicial Court for Criminal Defense is now in session. The honoring Judge Wood presents.
Everyone in the jury may be seated. Bailiff, please swear in the jury. Oh, they're over here, sorry.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will truly listen to this case and render a true verdict and fair sentence as to this defendant?
I do. Members of the jury, your duty today will be to determine whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty based only on facts and evidence provided in this case. The prosecution has the burden of providing the guilt of the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt. This burden remains on the prosecution through the trial. The prosecution must prove that a crime was committed and that the defendant is the person who committed the crime. However, if you are not satisfied of the defendant's guilt to that extent, then reasonable doubt exists and the defendant must be found not guilty. Bailiff, what is today's case?
Today's case is the trial of the Bacon versus Wood.
Thank you. Is the prosecution ready? You may give your opening statement. You may be seated, jury.
So, in this manner, we have Miss Katie Bacon, who was brutally murdered at around the times between 1 o'clock and 10:30 in the morning, 1 o'clock being 1 o'clock at 8 a.m. Now, this being because the farmer and all three of the wonderful pigs returned late home the night before from the state fair after getting a weight competition that they were at. And so, in that case, we have gathered certain bits of evidence that, let's just say, they all point towards Mr. Wolf. Where Mr. Wolf is right here. So, in this honorable case, we have the farmer who has lost his beloved pig, who he raised from such a young age, and raised her all the way to adulthood. One night, he comes out and finds the pig murdered. Blood everywhere. It's disgusting, frankly. And then we have the two siblings of the Miss Katie Bacon, and they are just as equally, if not more, saddened by the horrendous murder. Now, we have evidence, which I would like to bring to the case here, in which I would like to have the farmer.
We're going to hear the defense's opening statement, and then we'll get right into that.
Never mind. And so, that is my statement for now.
Taylor, you'd like to give the defense's opening statement?
Yes, please. Good morning, pupils of the Benson, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Actually, it's afternoon. I read this in the morning. I'm Taylor Coleman, and I will be defending Mr. Wolf right here. Mr. Wolf stands here today falsely accused of murdering Katie Bacon. The evidence and facts that will be brought to you today will prove Mr. Wolf's innocence. Look around at this room. Check out how the odds are stacked. This is a classical fairy tale trial, and I believe we can all say that this courtroom is a demonstration of stereotypes. This case is based solely on a stereotype. We have pigs versus a wolf. And, by the way, I don't think we should really trust a prosecuting attorney who doesn't know who his own defendant is. But, back to our case, the prosecutors have found themselves an easy case, but the case has many holes in it. Whoever murdered beloved Miss Katie Bacon wanted to make an easy way out. Mr. Wolf and I have with us two witnesses. We have Maggie Moo and DJ Donkey. Miss Moo will speak on what she knows about the wolf, and DJ will speak on some of the suspicious actions she's seen on the farm. We ask that you listen closely to these testaments and make a good decision. Thank you.
Thank you. The prosecution may call on your first witness.
Mr. Farmer, would you please join me?
Sir.
Farmer, not Mr. Pig.
I was just gonna shake his hand.
Sit right there on the stand, sir. Now, Mr. Farmer, could you explain to us what happened at the time that you found Miss Katie Bacon murdered?
So, the night before, I went to a fair to show off Katie Bacon and her siblings. And I went to sleep, I came back, I went to sleep, and I woke up to feed the cows. But when I was walking, I noticed something. I saw blood. Blood. And what happened was, the blood trail led all the way to Katie Bacon. And I was like, no, how? And on Katie Bacon, there was wolf prints all around her. And I was just like, wolf must have done it. And in her neck, there were teeth marks. So I was like, this must have been the wolf. There's no way it couldn't have been the wolf. So.
Yes, and that's good. And you also provided other evidence, which you gave earlier in the jury, or not the jury, before the court session started, which you found a tooth that was also part of a wolf, is what you claimed that you just said. And along with the tooth, you also found wolf prints going away. And we have a picture of that later, which we will progress to showing eventually. But is this, or is this not the tooth?
Yes, it is the tooth. Exactly.
We ran this over to the scientists, and they indeed said that this was the wolf's tooth, as it matched your DNA search. Anyway, so, piece of evidence right here. As this goes along, I would like to ask a few questions to the defendant. That's okay.
He will be brought up later in the case.
Okay, so here we go. If you will pay attention to the wonderful smartboard in the back, here we have the wolf prints that was given. That was a picture taken from the farmer on that evening. And that was the sighting of the dead pig. Now, Mr. Wolf does have a slight history of murderous cases in the fact that, well, you like midnight snacks, don't you? As you can see here, we have many cases where Mr. Wolf has murdered very innocent pigs, all for a little snack that he, obviously in each one of these pictures, doesn't really seem like he needs one at the moment. So, you know.
Now, prosecuting attorney, may I ask?
Yes.
Are we speaking of a wolf or this wolf?
This is Mr. Wolf. These are all his past cases. These are pictures either taken from witnesses at the time or these, hidden cameras that we that are around the farms for game cameras, such like that. And these are pictures that we found. Now, I want to point attention to the one that's at the far right with Mr. Wolf. Looks like he is doing a leapfrog attempt over the pig. On top of the fact that you murdered that poor soul, you also humiliated him. Alright. May I call?
We're going to let this, I'm going to let the farmer be cross-examined by the defense.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Farmer. How are you today?
Not that good.
That doesn't matter. Okay.
Thanks.
So my first question for you was, we all know that cows eat grass, correct? Why were you going out to feed the cow if the cow's food is on
They're in a dirt. They have to provide them food. They don't only eat grass, you know that, right?
Okay. When did, and prosecuting attorney, you said something about testing the wolf's DNA and the tooth, which matched the wolf's DNA, you two worked together and all that. When did you test the wolf?
That was a few days after the incident had occurred. And Mr. Farmer found the tooth and gave it to me as he hired me.
Okay. And how do you know that all of these pictures are our client? I mean, we all know how old the story of the 3 little pigs were. This is 2015. I'm pretty sure the 3 little pigs is
How many wolves have you seen in your life?
Not many.
How many have you seen in Conway?
Not many. I just really want to know how you thought that.
Look at his stature and compare that to the middle
Many wolves
photo.
look alike. We've all seen pictures. We've all seen pictures. Many wolves.
No. His ears are extremely large and narrow. They're the same exact size.
You're sure? You can tell that from a picture.
Yes.
From a picture that's scaled and up and down. And...
Yes.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Farmer.
You want to take the...
Yes, you do.
Okay. Would you like to call anyone else to the stand?
I would like to call the siblings. If you please come with me. Now, as we all know, you are indeed the siblings of Miss Katie Bacon. I believe you were very saddened by the fact that your sister was brutally murdered. Yes. Now, I would like to ask you a few questions that are about your past with Mr. Wolf and how, you know, a few times you said that you had seen him roaming around the farm. Yes. So, what exactly would give Mr. Wolf a motive to murder your sweet Miss Katie Bacon?
Well, I mean, he's a carnivore. He has teeth. He eats pigs.
Ew, that is
He has
indeed.
big appetite for the big fat ones like Katie Bacon.
Oh, yeah? She was a luxurious pig. She really was.
I've never seen him eat anything besides.
Yeah. It's too bad. Now, you've also given cases where your friends seem to have disappeared, and at the top right, is that not one of them?
That is one of them. He humiliated the pig before he killed him.
That pig's name is Thomas.
Oh!
It was Thomas. It was Thomas Porkinson.
Our cousin.
As well as the friends that are your carpenter's friends, yes, the ones that built the houses. Yeah, they were very nice. But anyway, back to the evidence at hand. We have the siblings that have had a not so decent past with Mr. Wolf, and Mr. Wolf, being the hungry man that we know he is, we all know that his main appetite is pigs, as seen from many of these cases. And so, this brings all to a conclusion that with the evidence found, that the teeth that were found from him, and we DNA tested them, they all run back to you. The wolf paw prints, they match your paws. They do. And I just like to rest my case now.
Okay. You may be seated. Well, what? You may be seated. The defense may cross-examine the pigs.
Alright. So, my first question to you all is, so your sister, as we've heard, was a prize pig, correct? Would you say that she was one of the most prized pigs, if not the most prized